Hey guys, Chip Cosse here with Laws for Life. It's all the things that can help you in your everyday life, whether you're involved in litigation or not. As you know, I'm a personal injury attorney in New Orleans, and one of the things I've come across over the years many times is disability insurance. Now, what that is if you are working and you are injured in some fashion, whether it's through another person's fault or not, and you can no longer work, well, then this policy pays you a sum of money while you're out and disabled. So there's a couple of factors that really are huge and very important to know about disability insurance. The first of which is you need to know the amount of the coverage payment should you have to make a claim. And you always want to make that payment equal to what your current income is after taxes. So whatever your net income would be that you normally live on, you want that number to kind of identically match it. Now, as your income level increases or decreases, you can change the policy from year to year. That's not a big deal. The second factor is the biggest factor, and it's really where the rubber meets the road, and it's called the definition of disability. So when you're going to buy a policy, it's always very important to look at an example of that policy and in the definitions section, and that's the way insurance policies are written. They have definitions that will apply to the policy itself, and then it'll give all the provisions, what's covered, what's excluded, and things like that. But in that very first section of definitions, it's going to say definition of disability. This is huge. Cheaper policies have a definition of disability, which means you can't work at all, which in many cases is not going to be that situation. So for example, if you are a mechanic at a car dealership and you could theoretically go flip hamburgers, well then that definition of disability will not be met and you will be excluded from any sort of a claim. And if that's the case, it could be very tragic for you and your family because you're going to go from a very, very high income level to very little to no coverage. So what you want to do, especially if you have any specialized training or you're highly educated, perhaps you have a graduate degree, PhD, whatever, you want to get what's called an own-oc policy, which essentially means the definition of disability will read that if you cannot perform the essential functions of the job for which you were educated and trained, then the disability provision provides coverage and you're in a much better circumstance. Now, the bad part about that is since those policies are going to be made payable a lot more often, the premiums for those are going to be also higher. And I know everyone looks at insurance like a big sucker bet, but if you need it, it's good to have it there. So if you have any questions, please give me a call or you can email me at chip@cosselaw.com. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot.